lightning round about homelessness, and I thought, yeah, it is kind of too big for a quick yes, no, and is this, so I'm going to combine this question. So I might go, Candy, a little squishy on the time, maybe up to 4 if we need it, okay? But we'll try to get it done in 3. And so, gentlemen, you might want to even write it down. Who bears responsibility for homelessness in Josephine County? What role, if any, should Josephine County play in fixing that? Now, I'm talking about the derelict style homeless, not like homeless is not affordable. They can't afford an apartment, and not that kind of homelessness. But speaking of that, what ideas might you bring to the table to bring more affordable conventional housing to Josephine County? So we've got the disorderly homeless, and then hopefully we'll wrap on that. Brian, you want to take a stab at that, please? It's a big one.
Sure, thanks, Phil. The homeless is probably the #1 issue that I hear about, and the reason it keeps coming up is because it's very, very difficult to address. As far as the responsibility of who needs to address a homeless issue, it's not the county, it's not the city, it's not y'all, it's all of us together. It's all of those things all at the same time. It's nonprofits, it's churches, because if any one of us, if the county tries to do something on its own, it's going to be less effective than if they have the city or St. Vincent de Paul or whoever partnering so we can work together. We haven't come together as a community to address this issue, and until we do that, until we get everyone pulling in the same direction, we're not going to make any headway. And honestly, part of the responsibility of solving this problem is on the people that are homeless themselves. We're not looking to, give anyone a free paycheck, but some of those homeless people, they're in a situation where they just need a little bit of help to get out of homelessness. And there's not a lot of mechanisms for them to do that right now. So I would envision the county partnering with both city jurisdictions, Grants Pass and Cave Junction, and hopefully partnering with nonprofits that are already working on this issue locally to have a coordinated effort to address this problem locally. We all know that we have homeless in the parks. We all know that we have homeless out in the county, up in the hills, in vehicles, camping, and I don't think any of us want that situation to continue. So we need to come forward with real ideas and real solutions to solve the problem instead of pointing the finger over here and pointing the finger over there. We need to all come together to have a coordinated effort, and part of that coordinated effort is going to help homeless people, and part of it isn't. Some homeless people, are not ready for help, and those ones you can't help, but a lot of them do want some help. So if we can help them and get them out of homelessness, it's going to make the situation better for them. It's going to make the situation better for us. It's going to make our community a better place to live. So as far as the third part of the question here, I guess we're rolling into kind of ideas for housing. It's a little bit trickier in the county than it is in the city. The county has rural zoning, so it's not as simple as, packing in subdivisions out in the county. You don't have water service, you don't have sewer, so it's not quite the same animal as it is in a municipality like Grants Pass or Cave Junction. However, some ideas that we could do, we could loosen up the ordinances regarding accessory dwelling units. I know that it's pretty restrictive to put a second or third dwelling on a property right now. I think there's things that we could do to look at that, and that could increase the housing stock in the county. And then the one other thing I was going to mention is we could also potentially look at running the water and sewer line out towards Merlin and getting some more development out in the Merlin area. It's already to the North Valley Industrial Park, so it's already halfway to Merlin. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brian. John, you want to take a stab at this one? Big 3-part question, but there's a lot to chew on.
Sure. So, folks, the homeless problem is not your fault. You had nothing to do with it. So when he says the finger pointing like this, it's not your fault. It's government's fault. Bottom line to it. And I will point fingers. Right there. So we have, it's a complex issue. We have mentally ill, we have drug addiction, and then we have those folks that do not want to work. I talked to a gentleman with 25 years of experience running an excavator, told him I'd get him a job at Knife River Corporation, $45 an hour. He said, I like my living situation. I'm not looking for a job. But we're supposed to take money from our families. We're supposed to take money from our communities, and we're supposed to help those that don't want to work. I was raised, you don't work, you don't eat. You know, maybe we need a little tough love in society a little bit. I mean, we got to be compassionate. Don't get me wrong. We need to be compassionate. But we don't have to give away the farm just because somebody doesn't want to live their life right. Now, I talked with Cliff Bentz, Congressman Cliff Bentz, for an hour and a half the other day. He said, John, if you become county commissioner, what can we do to help you? I said, we need money for our drug addiction. We need money for our mentally unstable people. We don't have that money in our community. We need the state and the federal government to step up and give us the funds and give us the facilities to help these folks. We can't do it by you taking money from putting clothes on your kids or running your own household. We need the government to step up because the government started this problem with socialism and all the other garbage that they went through, and they have left us with a mess. As far as housing, Brian talks about second or third homes in the county. Right now you get ADUs, ADAs, but right now there's state regulations that don't allow inside the county. It does in the city, but it doesn't allow in the county for you to put multiple housing on R2.5, RR5 lots. That's a state issue. That's not a county government issue. So I don't know where he thinks we're going to be able to put all these houses on all these lots. If that's the case, it's something that the state says we can't do. So it's a tough situation, but there's answers to get the people out of the parks. There's answers to get the people some help, but the city council needs to do a lot better job. They have been given some solutions. I put some solutions out there, but apparently maybe it's because it's me. They don't want the solutions. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm too conservative and a Republican. They don't want the answers. I don't know what it is, but there's answers out there. They just got to be willing to do them.
Okay. All right. Brian, you wanted to rebut. Go ahead.
Yeah,
30
thank you.
seconds.
John says there's answers out there. I didn't really hear any answers from him on how to solve this. He also said it's government's fault. So the mental health and drug addiction piece, that is part of the problem. But guess what? We've talked to options. We've talked to the agencies locally that do that work. They have plenty of funding. The problem that they have is they can't get staff. They can't get enough people to address the problem. So we've met with them to talk about funding. They said they're fine on funding. And I'm not asking anyone in this room to pay. We're getting money from outside the county to address this problem. So it's not a matter of asking people in the county to help pay to solve this issue.
All right, thank you, Brian. Next, we're going to have John, you can take this question. Each of you has other outside business ventures in